The Big Story.
The Mendocino National Forest in Northern California, July 8th. A deer crackles through the dry underbrush close to the road. He lifts his head, freezes, alert, listening, then bounds back into the forest. A car is approaching. The car stops. The man gets out. He looks up and down the road. Nothing. He strikes a match. Applies it to the brittle underbrush, which instantly ignites. The man watches as a gentle breeze fans the flames. He jumps back into the car and drives off fast. In 30 seconds, the fire begins to roar through the forest.
The Big Story. The story you're about to hear actually happened. It happened in Willows, California. It's authentic and is offered as a tribute to the men and women of the great American newspapers. From the front pages of the Willows Journal, the story of a reporter who went out to cover one of nature's ugliest catastrophes and came back with something even uglier about a man. Willows, California, the story as it actually happened. Charles Gleason's story as he lived it.
The signs on Route 99W north out of Willows say 50 miles per hour. The speedometer on the dashboard says 70. But you, Chick Gleason, aren't worried about getting a ticket. The big man beside you at the wheel is on official business. He's Frank Edwards, supervisor of the Mendocino National Forest, and he's speeding toward a forest fire in the Alder Springs section. It's a routine assignment, this first fire of the season, which you cover annually, and you're a little bored.
I'm getting smart, my old age, Frank. Well, pack my fishing tackle right along with the camera.
Fine, Chick. Maybe you'll get to use it. Last report I had, the blaze wasn't too bad. Here, hand me the phone. I'll check again.
Right.
Hello, Jeff. This is Edwards. How does she look?
Well, we're making progress now that the bulldozers have gone to work. Should have things under control in a couple more hours.
Well, what about the spot blaze at Powder Point?
Well, it's worse than we first suspected. I've sent Stowe over there with 24 missionaries to handle it. But it's more than a brush fire, Mr. Edwards. A lot more. Must have started about the same time as this one at the Springs.
It did, huh? That's strange. Well, have the missionaries try to hem it in from the north. I'll be with you in an hour.
Who are these missionaries, Frank?
Oh, fine group of men. They maintain a camp near Alder Springs for training as jungle missionaries. You know, getting used to the rugged outdoor life. They've helped us before with fires, and they're good.
Mm-hmm. How bad is Powder Point?
Could be trouble, Chick.
How do you mean?
Alder Springs and Powder Point are within 10 miles of each other. 2 fires in the same area starting about the same time. Very peculiar. We'll be fishing all right, but not for trout.
What are you talking about, Frank?
Arson.
As Edwards turns off the main highway onto a back road where the fire has begun to encroach, your feeling of boredom quickly vanishes. The smoke rising from the burning brush takes on a sinister quality. It could be arson. You watch the men along the road darting here and there to beat out sparks or choke off a creeping ribbon of flame. At one point, Edwards slams on the brakes and shouts at you to follow.
Come on, Chick. That man, his clothes are smoldering.
Hey, what gives? Let me go. Hey, stop that.
Your clothes are on fire, man. Here, stand up. See if you're okay now.
Gosh, they were. Yeah, I'm okay. Gee, thanks a lot, Mr.
Edwards, Forest Supervisor. What's your name?
Rusk. Alan Rusk, sir.
I used to know a Stanley Rusk. He was in the Forest Service for years.
That's my father.
Oh, he was, huh? Well, then you should know enough not to get sparked. Are you a regular member of the crew?
No, sir. No, temporary. Taken on this morning as a cook at Alder Springs.
Then what are you doing in the fire line?
Oh, helping out during my rest period.
You're old Stan Rust's son, all right. But for Pete's sake, keep doused by the water truck when sparks are flying around like this.
Yes, sir.
All you men, make sure the water truck shoots you every 15 minutes. And watch your left flank. Don't get caught in the horseshoe. Come on, Chick. We better get up there.
You creep along the Alder Springs Road toward the heart of the blaze. Closer and closer. Flames all around you, choking smoke, and the weird sound of explosions rumbling through the forest.
What's that, Frank?
Well, they're dynamiting to set back the blaze.
You really think someone started this thing, Frank?
Well, I'll know more when we get to the control point.
Why? A forest fire brings profit to no one.
Well, I can tell you why a tree grows crooked. But human beings, well, that's a reporter's specialty, isn't it?
You push onto the control point at Alder Springs. Here at the center, green leaves and pine needles burn like gas. Huge bulldozers, like prehistoric monsters in the ghastly glow, make clearings trying to hem in the blaze. You, Chick Gleason, a reporter who went out on a routine assignment, stand transfixed. Chief Ranger Jeff Carey comes running over to Supervisor Edwards.
Bulldozers have her hemmed in on three sides, Mr. Edwards.
Well, how's the wind?
Duncan's just going out the tree to check.
Why, Jeff? It's always a good picture.
You newspaper guys, nothing stopped her. Over there, that big pine.
You focus your camera on the treetop. Presently, a man appears in the uppermost branches among the swirling smoke and sparks. He holds out a flag. You've shot it before, the way a veteran firefighter gauges the wind from a treetop with his little flag. You click the shutter. From where he stands, Carey reads the flapping flag like a precision instrument.
14 miles an hour from the southeast, sir. And dying.
Well, that's a good sign.
Unless the wind rises again after a lull, then it'll be twice as bad.
Well, what's the situation at Powder Point, Jeff?
Stubborn spot blaze down there, sir. So far, the missionaries have been holding their own.
You'd better go down there yourself, Jeff, and make sure the fire doesn't get behind them.
Yes, sir.
Do you mind if I go along, Frank?
I'm all for it. Those boys deserve a good write-up.
Those boys deserve a good write-up. Words which come back to haunt you, Chick Gleason, but mean little now as you set off behind Jeff for Powder Point. It's a long, grueling hike. The only way to get through is on foot. Night falls. You're a reporter, a trained observer, sometimes an artist. You can't help seeing an eerie beauty in the shades of rose, red, and orange created by the blaze. The crawling fingers of flame which catch the tops of the bigger pines. The boiling pools of fire that change with each new puff of wind. The wind is rising again when Jeff comes to a halt.
You wait here, Gleason. The missionaries are in a canyon about a quarter of a mile away. I want to check the lay of the land first. This new wind, I don't like it.
Okay. Holler, things are all right. I'll catch up.
Right. But I don't like this wind.
And you wait. From your vantage point, you can't see into the canyon. But you can see black areas in the distance suddenly turning into acres of jewels. Fires are all around you. But for some reason, you feel safe. You wait. Minutes, hours, you never will be sure. And then it starts to happen. It starts with Jeff frantically rushing back to you.
Gleason! Gleason!
Yeah?
Get out of here.
What's the matter?
You're in the horseshoe. Come on. Head north, fast.
What about the missionaries?
They're trapped. The fire jumped their lines blowing down over the canyon. Come on, get going.
What about you?
I gotta try and help those fellas.
Oh, me too.
You, Chick Gleason, are a reporter on a story. You're also a man, and other men are in trouble. You plunge down toward the canyon behind Jeff. You lose him in the thick, blinding smoke. You start to choke and sob for air. And then suddenly you're blocked by a curtain of flame, behind which you see struggling shapes. You hear their anguished cries. You'll always hear them.
Peter! Peter! This way there's an opening!
You, Chick Gleason, are one of the lucky ones. You get back. And you're Johnny on the spot when the first group of surviving missionaries staggers into the control point at Alder Springs. You know your job. You do it.
You mind if I ask a few questions? I'm a reporter.
No. No, go ahead.
Oh, your name?
George Trimble.
Well, can you remember much what happened, George?
A little. We just finished saying grace when the fire flashed into the canyon. Peter Beach and I ran together. I made the top of the ridge. And I looked around. He was a human torch. His hair, his clothes. It was horrible. Horrible.
Now, take it easy, George. I'm sorry to bother you.
No. Wait a second. Is it true? Did somebody set this fire? Are such things possible?
Oh, can't say for sure. Yet.
You've been a reporter for 25 years. Even though you know better, you were beginning to hope the rough ones were all behind you. But this assignment is the roughest yet. The night was bad enough. The day is worse. The dreadful aftermath. The search for the 15 missionaries still unaccounted for. And you find them where everyone expected, in the canyon. You stand on the ridge with Edwards and the rest of the search party and look down. The canyon walls are covered with a powder-like ash, studded here and there with charcoal black stumps. On the canyon floor are the black, twisted bodies of men, 15 of them, burned beyond recognition. The missionaries are accounted for.
Gleason?
Uh-huh.
Got your camera?
Yeah, right here, Frank.
Use it. It may be the only evidence we get.
It shatters your nerves, Chick Gleason. It turns your stomach, but you photograph every detail. You shoot it all, sustained through the terrible hours by one thought. If the fire is the work of an arsonist, your pictures may help get him. Only when you run out of film do you quit. Edwards joins you as you stare down on the ghastly scene from a scarred hillside.
All done, Chick?
No more film.
7 of them were married.
Guy heard.
Mr. Edwards! Mr. Edwards!
What is it, Jeff?
Forest Service investigators have picked up 2 suspects.
This is Cy Harris, returning you to your narrator and the big story of Charles Gleason, as he lived it and wrote it.
As you walk back through the burned-over forest to get a look at the 2 suspects, Chick Gleason, your story begins to take shape in your mind. No matter what you've been through, you're a reporter, the only reporter in this case, and you have to meet your deadline. When you arrive at Alder Springs Control Point, County Sheriff Bert Hanna and Chief Ranger Jeff Carey are questioning the first suspect, Sam Snyder, a man with a record of petty larceny.
You drive a blue Ford, that right, Snyder?
Yep, blue Ford with white walls. Right over there, Sheriff.
What were you doing on the Alder Springs Road at 5 a.m. yesterday morning?
Oh, just driving around, Mr. Carey.
Doing what?
Just looking out the window at the scenery.
And if you'd seen any signs of smoke, you'd have reported it, I suppose.
Well, you bet. I know my duty as a citizen.
Then why didn't you? The fire was going then, and you drove right past.
I didn't see no smoke.
Maybe you didn't want to. Maybe you started it.
Oh, now, look. Why would I start a forest fire? What's in it for me?
Better tell the truth, Snyder. 15 men died. You're a murder suspect.
Murdered? Okay. So I was there with 3 other guys. It was deer hunting. I got witnesses.
Who?
Gus Roberts, Levi Eastman, and Sid Calhoun. It was all along. And the deer's in my meat locker.
Hunting out of season.
Yeah, I admit it. That's why when we seen the smoke, we didn't report it. We just took off fast.
Well, if your story checks, you can go, Snyder. You'll get a summons for hunting out of season later.
Okay.
But it ain't murder.
Snyder's story checks. You, Chick Gleason, are standing by when Sheriff Hanna takes down the report via radio phone. You're not a vengeful man, but you feel a vague twinge of disappointment. Now that the Forest Service investigators have definitely established the fires as the work of an arsonist, you have an overwhelming compulsion to see him brought to justice. When the second suspect is brought out for questioning, you're startled to see who it is.
You've got no business holding me, Sheriff.
All you have to do is answer a few questions to clear yourself, Rusk.
Tell him how crazy it is trying pinning this forest fire on me, Mr. Carey. My father was in the Forest Service 30 years. You know him.
Sheriff, this boy was brought up in the traditions of the Forest Service.
You own a green Buick sedan, don't you, Rusk?
Yeah. Is that a crime?
It was seen on the Alder Springs Road early yesterday morning at the time the fire started.
Well, I can explain that. I was squirrel hunting.
Another hunter. Was anybody with you?
No.
I can vouch for the boy's background, Sheriff. His father was the best.
Thanks. Now, Rusk, your car was seen on the Alder Springs Road at 5:45 a.m. Where were you a half hour before?
Heck, I wasn't even on the Alder Springs Road. I remember the sun was just dipping out of the canyon, and I glanced at my watch.
The canyon, Rusk? The canyon near Powder Point?
I didn't say that.
No, you didn't, Rusk. But there's no other canyon within a half hour's drive of Alder Springs. I'm taking you in.
You and Jeff Carey go along with the sheriff as he drives Alan Rusk back to the county jail at Willows. But under hours of questioning, Rusk stands his ground.
I tell you, I was squirrel hunting, that's all. Just squirrel hunting.
We found kitchen matches in your car.
Well, then you better arrest every camper in California.
He has a point, Sheriff. Most people carry kitchen matches when they camp.
Thanks, Jeff.
I was fighting a blaze on the lines myself, wasn't I? Mr. Gleason here saw me when my clothes caught on fire. Mr. Edwards was with him.
Yes, that's true enough.
There, you see, Sheriff?
But that was yesterday afternoon. We're talking about yesterday morning.
I was brought up in the Forest Service. I'm the last person in the world to set a fire.
Your car was spotted at Alder Springs, and you and yourself let slip that you were at Powder Point a half hour before. Those are the starting points of both fires, Rusk. And we know that they were set.
I told you I was squirrel hunting.
Well, until you come up with something better than squirrels, I'm keeping you in custody. This way, Rusk.
What's the charge?
Suspicion. Come on.
Rusk has a good name and a story that's hard to crack. But you've noticed that beneath his righteous indignation lies an undercurrent of fear. You decide to dig around in his background. After wasting time in several interviews that turn up nothing, you drive into the gas station owned by his best friend.
I'll fill her up.
Sure thing. Check your oil?
No, it's okay. Hey, you're a good friend of Alan Rusk's, aren't you?
Yeah. Terrible thing about him. They got the wrong guy for sure. Want me to drop some stuff in the tank that'll clear out your carbon?
No, thanks. I hear you and Rusk do a lot of squirrel hunting together.
We never went squirrel hunting in our lives. Fishing, that's our sport. Hey, your left rear tire is mighty thin. You could use a new one.
No, not today. It's a funny thing, but a guy told me Rusk was great for squirrel hunting.
Not Alan. That'll be $2.60.
Oh, yeah, here you are. You're sure Rusk doesn't go squirrel hunting?
Hey, what is this? You the squirrel's friend or something? He don't hunt, period. He's scared of guns. Won't go near one.
So Rusk lied. But you can't pin a forest fire on a man because he doesn't hunt. Besides, what would be his motive? You keep talking to people, hoping to uncover a possible motive. And finally, you locate his sister-in-law. She's in a laundromat doing the family wash.
Please, mister, no more questions. I have washing to do for 3 kids.
You were saying Mrs. Rusk didn't live with her husband anymore. Now, why?
Because she left him.
Well, why did she leave him?
You have your nerve. Are all reporters as nosy?
Oh, they have to be to keep their jobs. Was he drunk or something like that?
Oh, no, nothing like that. You mustn't write that.
Well, what was it then?
Well, he was always in debt, always owing everyone. A car not paid for. Once they came and took the furniture. Then when he got out of work, his wife couldn't stand it. Everybody dunning him, no food. Things were desperate, so she left him.
dire financial straits. You found a motive for lots of crimes, Chick Gleason, but not for setting a forest fire that profits no one, and time's running out. 2 days have passed since Rusk was taken into custody. With no real evidence against him, it's impossible to hold him in jail much longer. And you're more certain than ever, though you can't prove it, that he's guilty. You go to Sheriff Hanna with a plan.
Mr. Gleason here wants to show you some pictures he took at the scene of the fire, Rusk.
Well, suit yourselves. I'm getting out of here today anyhow. My lawyer says so.
Well, maybe you'll want some as souvenirs of your stay.
Thanks.
This first one was taken on a ridge near Powder Point.
Burned out stumps, huh?
No, animals. It's hard to tell the difference, isn't it, Russ?
Sort of.
Well, this was taken at the point looking down into the canyon.
Animals again.
Now, men this time. 3 men, to be exact. Now, here's a close-up of one of them. His name was Lou Rutherford.
How'd they identify him?
From the inscription on his wedding ring.
Why take pictures of stuff like that? That ain't nice.
Nothing's nice about a forest fire, Rusk.
Now, take a look at this one. The poor devil's trying to shield his eyes. Fire must have blinded him before he died. And this man, he was caught trying to scramble over to help.
You show the pictures for a solid hour, Chick Gleason, one by one. You have them carefully arranged in a sequence of mounting horror. And as you present the last and most gruesome of them, Rusk starts to show signs of cracking. You pour it on. You recall word for word the reports of the 9 missionaries who lived. You describe with the precision of a good reporter what you yourself had witnessed. And the sweat breaks out on Rusk, and he turns white. And finally he shudders and breaks.
No. Oh, I'm not going to look anymore. You can't make me.
Only a few left, Rusk. This one and 2 others. See, he's trying to claw his way into the earth, and the man next to him is praying. Did you ever hear the Lord's Prayer shrieked in agony, Rusk? You would have if you'd been at Powder Point.
I said stop. I ain't going to listen.
Now, the next to the last one, Rusk, a mummy. A man mummified by smoke and fire.
Get it out of my sight. I won't look.
Sit down, Rusk.
No.
You'll look.
No, Sheriff, please.
Show him the last picture, Chick.
All right. I set the fires. But don't show me anymore.
Are you willing to sign a confession?
Yeah. I didn't mean for anyone to get killed. I swear.
Why did you do it, Rusk? Why?
I needed work. I was broke. I owed money. I was desperate.
You mean you started the fires to get a job fighting them?
Yes. I needed a job. The Forest Service pays good, $1.90 an hour. I didn't think anyone would get hurt. I swear all I wanted was a job.
You got your job. 15 men dead, 24 children fatherless, 7 women widows, and 1,000 acres of timber burned over. Hey, you got your job.
I'll take him out, Chick, if you don't have any more questions.
Just one, Sheriff. How much do you make, Russ?
$36.10.
And so ends another big story. In order to protect the names of people actually involved in tonight's authentic big story, the names of all characters in the dramatization were changed with the exception of the newspaper reporter.
The Big Story has been a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.